Hi, Mayan.
Hello everyone. Hello Mr. Tiny T. Um, Hello everyone. My name is Man and I major in doctorate medicine. I'm in the class of 2027. As we all know, workshop sessions are designed to assist us with the problems that we might encounter while conducting research. Following this purpose, today's workshop addresses the question where and how can we find reliable sources and tools to support our research. Similar to other workshops, it is our honor to have a great speaker here today to share with us his experience and knowledge about today's topic. We would love to welcome Mr. Tony Ting, the Director of Library and Learning Resources at university. He is responsible for managing and assuring that the library database and features meet the facility requirements and also the students' demands for academic purposes. I believe Mr. Turnington is a very familiar expert to us all, and he has also appeared at a speaker in our orientation week to deliver an insightful session about plagiarism issues. Now I'll pass the mic to our beloved speaker today.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Let me do I share screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, very well. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be here and talk about what are some of the essential tools used for your library research. My name is Tony Tin. I'm the Director of Library and Learning Resources. Okay, to start with, many of you will probably ask me, Mr. Tin, what will you recommend? What do you see as the most important tool for library research? Of course, my response is the library. Okay, what do you know about the library? Well, our library actually is a hub to support research. So I just want to do a little bit of an overview of a library, so you know what the library and capable of supporting research. Our library has two floors with more than 4,000 square mile. Believe it or not, when you're talking about research, we also talk about access to resources. If you go to the library, you have access more than 3,000 books and also access to almost 974,000 on online material. The library is digital bound. We provided digital access to a variety of electronic resources. The library is staffed by 3 academic librarians with 8 supporting student and student workers. If you want to use the computers, a printer, we have 30 more workstation and 2 printer for you to print, scan, and copy. If you need a room to discuss your research, like with the other student, we have 23 discussion room available. If you're doing research, you want to make things, then you can go and visit our Maker Lab in the second floor as a 3D printer, scanner, and also VR headset for you to use to conduct your VR research. If you need a place studies, the library never closes after the closing hour. We have a 24/7 learning space for you to use. Now, your question is if I have to find research, where can I find the information? It is unnecessary for you to go and using like Yahoo, Google, and any other search engine. If you are a VUni student, I would suggest you start your research with the library website. If you look at the screen, and this is what the library website look like, the address of the website is library.vununi.edu.vm. Anything you need for your research, you don't have to go anywhere. Just go and visit the library website. Now, probably many of you will probably ask me, what do I need to know to use the library for research? I just want to give you some basic information about what you need to know as a library user if you want to use it for research. Your VUni ID will serve as a library card for you to borrow any library material, including books and equipment. We are talking about 321. What I mean by 321 is you can borrow up to 3 items per loan. The due date is every 2 weeks. If you want to keep the book for research, you're allowed to renew the books one more time for one more week. Now, your next question, if I want to do research, I'm not in a campus. What am I going to do? Okay, if you want to conduct research, you can actually remote the library website from anywhere. So all you need to do is you will go and log in the library website using your library account to log in. Now, there's some really good features about the library account that I think it will facilitate your research. Besides, to find information about loans, fees, request books, to see if there's any other message from the library to you. One of the features I would like to share with you is how to use your library account to save your search result so that you can better organize all of your result of your search. Let me show you how it works. Okay, first of all, you will go to the library account. You will go and click library account. Select VNUNI student and faculty. After you log in, you will see some basic information, but I'm not going to talk about the information. I'm focusing on how you can use the library account to find information. All you need to do is go to new search. And after that, I want to find some information about exit rate. You type in, and after that, you will go and do the search. After you do the search, what you need to do is how you can save the result. First of all, I'm happy with the exit rate at one of my search query. It will not go wrong to go and click Save Query. So your query will be saved. The next thing you want to do is go through the list to see if you find anything that will be useful for your research. If you do find some research, you find it really helpful, you can actually go and tap and bookmark it. And then after that, all you need to do is go and click the pin button. When you click the pin button, click Add to Favorite. You can see it will automatically go to favorite. The next thing you need to do, it will just go and click the pin button. Guess what? Everything you search and you select it, it will show up here. Okay, this will be a wonderful way for you to organize your research. You don't have to open a Word document and after that just copy and paste. Now you can use the library account to save all of your search results. Let's say you have no idea, you totally forgot exactly like what are the search terms you use. You can go and click search result. Remember, we use exit rank as our save search result. Next time when you do the search, you can say exit rank and Vietnam and click search save search query. It will automatically remember the search term you use. Just in case if you're so confused about your search history, you can actually go and click search history. It can give you a list of history. So this is really handy in terms of using the library account to organize, to search and also organize your search result. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how you can make a better use of Google Scholar to support your research. I think many of you probably are really familiar with Google Scholar. However, probably one of the features that you are not aware of is Google Scholar actually talk to the VNUNI Library Catalog. If you go to the Google Scholar, we have a link to this Google Scholar. You can do a search, and after that, one of the result of your search, if your topic is about financial development in Vietnam, you will see like the title, and on the right side, it will show you where you can access. Uh, there is a configuration you have to do in order to see whether you can find a VNUNI library. If you see get it a VNUNI library, that means you can also access the article through the VNUNI library. Now let me show how it works. So I go and click Google Scholar. Okay, this is the article I want, financial development. I scroll down to the one I see. Okay, now I want to access. You have two options. You can actually go and click the popular website, or you can go and click Get It at VNUNI. And after that, it can link you directly to the VNUNI library, and you have access to the article. So in other words, now Google Scholar actually talk to the VNUNI library catalog. Okay, now how does it work? In order to set that up, you have to go to the setting. After you go to the setting, you will actually go and click this. You will go to the one that's called library link. From the library link, you have to type VN space university. After you type, it will find VN University. All you need to do is go and check the box and click save. From now on, when you use the Google Scholar to search, if the Google Scholar also find a journal article that you can find in the VNUNI library, it will show up as VN, get it at VNUNI. One little click, it will link you directly to the VNUNI library. So you have immediate access to it. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is OER. Open educational resources have become really popular. A lot of people, scholar, use it for teaching. I've seen a lot of scholar also use it like for to do the research. When I say OER, you can access to open textbooks, some of the open access books, simulation, and open courseware. If you go to the library website, you see one is called Open Scholarship. This is where you'll find some goodies. For example, if you're doing a research on medical science, you struggle with one of those medical technology and how the respiratory system work, I will recommend that you go to the open library. And after that, just type medical terminology. Okay, after you go and click, you will find some open access book. The book that you don't have to pay for is free. So now if I want to access this book, I just go and click the link. Once you go to the link, scroll down to the one is called Read It Online. If you want to do some medical research, especially if English is your second language, you will find this open book really useful. Okay, now let me show you how it works. For example, I'm doing some research about respiratory system. I want to find some information about respiratory system. I can actually just go and click. And after that, it will give you some information about what repository system function is, what function does it serve. I have a really nice diagram in simple English. If you're one of those who like the great anatomy, you will also like this too if you're in health science. One thing that I really like is it actually have the capacity to play the video. Now, if you're one of those students who are struggling with how to pronounce the medical term, if you actually go and click, it will pronounce the word for you, and then you go and turn, it will give you a definition. So this is one of the really useful open textbooks if you want to do some research on mental health and medical science. Now, I just want to bring you back to show you some other things that you will find it really useful without paying a lot of money to use all those resources. Another one I will recommend if your research is actually about to Vietnam, become political science or economics, I will recommend you use the JSTOR open access. Have a lot of open access book that you can use. For example, I want to find something about Vietnam. I can go and type, you search JSTOR. It have 30,000 books for you to use, including journals, book chapters, etc. And all of them are full text. So if you are doing research about global development, about Vietnam, to find some research report, this will be the one I highly recommend to use as an open access books. Now, I'd like to show you another one I really find it really useful. Is the one is called Directory of Open Access Books. Today's topic is about research methodology. Okay, if I want to find some open text about research methodology, about social research and statistics, where can we find it? So I can find a lot of good books about how to do good research in this category here. As you can see, about how you can do cognitive assessment if doing psychology, and how to do scale, how you can do public health and health service research. So those are really handy for you to use. It's free, it's open access. The last thing that I would like to show it to you is called an open library. I came from Canada. This is really popular for people to go to the open library to borrow books. The model is really similar to going to a physical library. But instead of doing physical library, you're doing virtual. Right now, I want to find some books about research methodology. Okay, after that, I just go and click. It will give me a list of books. Books not in library, that means you do not have access. I'm looking for books that you have access. This is the one I particularly interested. Now, I can actually go and borrow it. It also have a function, if you want to listen to it, have an audio book function. Now I want to borrow the books. You can actually set up an account. This is totally legitimate. Okay. Now I will go click login. And after you log in, you can actually borrow the books from the library. As you can see, this is the book. So I am going to borrow it for 14 days. After you borrow the book for 14 days, you can come back. You can actually go and browse the book. Exactly look like you borrow a book from the library, but it's just in a virtual library. This is a book you can access. After you finish, you can just return now. The open library has a lot of really good books, especially if you're looking for something really classics. Like this is where you can find it. So I highly recommend if you're looking for open books for research. The next thing I want to talk about is really research guide. Research guide is a pathway for you to find the information because we have so many resources in the library. One of the challenge is you are not so sure how to use a database. You need some guardians. For this reason, the academic library have developed a number of guides to step by step to show you how to use different resources. If you go to the library website, go and click the one it's called research guide. It will bring you to the research guide page. Here you will find an alphabetical list of how to use different database. For example, I would like to learn how to use one of the database is called Academic OneFile. You will just go and click. It will give you step-by-step explanation how to do the search, what's the content, how you can get the email result, and some of the additional guide. So this is really handy for you if you want to learn a database but you don't know how to start. You can start with the research guide. Now I'm going to talk about different way to find resources, including how to find books, journal article, and book chapters in the library website. Now, I want you to think about the library. It looked like your Lysender's. Remember, when we want to buy things, we go to Lysender's because you go to Lysender's, it's a one-stop shopping of everything you want to buy. Think about the library website is a one-stop shopping or as a gateway for all of the information you need for your research. Now, if you go to the library website, this is what you will see. There's a search box. If you go and click search, it will search for everything, including books we have, including OER, and also things that we do not have, but it allows us to have full text access. Catalog, that means it's a local holding. Especially, this is where you can find whether we have the books in our library. You will go and click catalog. Article, if you're looking for a full text journal article, you will go and click article. So this is a basic search interface. Let me just give you an example. Right now, I want to find some information about Vietnam. Okay, I click search. When I go click search, it will find everything about Vietnam. You get a lot of results, including what we have, and also some are open access, journal article, etc. For sure, you get a lot of result. If you're interested only to find out a books, what we have in the library, you will just go and click library catalog, and then click search. And after that, you will find this is a book we have in our holding. It will give you the call number, or if this is the one we pay and subscribe, you will see available online. If the purpose is to find a journal article to read, you will just go and click article. And after that, click go and search. All you find will be from a research database, a list of all of the peer-reviewed articles that you can use for research. Now, this is the basic search. We also have an advanced search interface. The difference between the basic and advanced is you can customize your search so that I can say I only want a specific material. Instead of having English, I only want Vietnamese. I can even specify the date. I'm only interested in finding 2021, and you can use the filter to specify your search. Now, give me an example. I'll show you how it works. Okay, if I want to find something about a topic, now I'm only interested in finding as a book. So you will select books. All I want is I'm only interested in reading something in Danish. Okay, let's say if you can speak Danish, you can specify. So it won't find English, it won't find Vietnamese, it will be Danish. This is where you can specify the date, time. Usually people will just go, I only want to find the year. Let's say will be 2021, etc. Okay, and after you go and search, you can find something really specific depend on the filter you the filter you use. It could be books, journal article, language, and also how current you're looking for by using the start date filter. Now, I would also like to share with you some of the search technique. If you want to do a research, always start with something is called a keyword search. For example, your research topic has something to do is what is the role of exercise in heart health. There's no point for you to type in the whole thing because the search engine simply would ignore what is and others. So all you need to do is when you do a keyword searching, try to identify what are the main concepts. So when I look at what I type, I identify I want to find something about exercise. I want to find something about heart health. So when you do your search, basically you will just type in the concept. You type in exercise, you type in heart health to do the research. Now, another good practice is sometimes it may not necessarily use the term heart health. Maybe the database will use the term cardiovascular. So when you do the search, try to think about what are some of the possible keywords you can use. Another example will be you're doing some research about car, then you should start to think about, okay, maybe there's another word to describe car. I can use automobile too. So try to think about some of the synonyms or a different search word for each of the concept. Now, many of you probably ask me, oh, Mr. Tian, you show me how to do basic search. You want me to show how to do advanced search, keyword search. It sounds pretty simple. However, when I conduct my search, I don't know why. I come up with so many results. I'm overwhelmed. What did I do wrong? Well, my response to you is really simple. Garbage in, garbage out. You type in garbage, of course you're getting garbage, right? So what I'm trying to show you is how you can use Boolean operator to narrow down or broaden your search so that you can get a better search result. Okay? When I'm talking about Boolean operator, it means it is an operator with linked concept within a search. There are three operators. One is called using and that means you're trying to cover two things, A or B. Okay, example will be, let's say I want to find something about child assignment. I want the search to pick up all of this key term. I will put an or in between. So in this case, you will get a lot of result. Now, the second thing is, okay, now I know exactly what I want to find, but I want to be really specific. In this case, you want to narrow down your search. In this case, when you talk about A and B, you really want to narrow down by putting an and. Okay, so in other words, when the search engine try to pull the result for you, it need to include fish and food. Without fish and food, you will get no result. Okay, this is how you can narrow down your search. Another way to narrow down your search is you can use a not filter. What I mean by not filter is you filter out some of the information. Now, if I compare not with or basically I want to cover everything. Now I decided I only want child. I don't want anything to do with Simon. So to filter out Simon, you will put not in between. In this case, the search engine will only find your child but not Simon. Now, one of the important things that I want you to remember when you do your search, make sure, I put in red, you use uppercase, capital letters. If you put in lowercase and or not, there'll be no magic. The search engine doesn't understand you're using a Boolean operator. The only way you can tell the search engine, whether it's Google or our library search engine, make sure you use uppercase and or not. So the search engine knows you are using a Boolean operator. Now, this is just a really quick example how I do a search. For example, I'm researching something about soccer. How do I start? Usually for a good researcher, the very first thing they do the search, they want to find out what are some of the resources available in the topic. So as I mentioned to you before, I'm going to do a keyword search. I try to find out what are some of the words I can describe about football. Okay, in this case, I will put soccer and football. I get a lot of results. Now, this is what you will type in the online library catalog. Soccer, football, in between I put all. So the search engine will pull anything about soccer and football. You get lots of results, okay, as you can see. Now, the next thing I want to do is now I scan through all of the resources. I want to narrow down my research topic related to Vietnam. So I want to go for specific now. In this case, I will put an and in between. When I put an and in between, the search engine will only find me resources related to soccer, but the soccer have something to do with Vietnam. Okay, not USA, not Germany. If you compare and or odd, you can see the first one start with 1,509. Now it's down to half of it because I narrowed down the search using the AND operator. The result go down. Last but not least, after you scan through the literature, you make up your mind, I can find a lot of good result, a good search from soccer, but not a whole lot in football. So I want to focus on soccer. So all you need to do is filter out football, you put a not, okay, in between. So as you can compare not with or, the result is down to about 332,000. Significantly go down. That's how you do it. When you do the search, you just put a not in between. Search engine know now you want to filter out football, whatever like you see, it will be soccer. No more football. So this is how you can narrow down or you're broadening your search using the Boolean operator called AND or NOT. Now, I would like to share you with some of the practical tips. I have another student came and talked to me, Mr. Tian, I want to find some information about exit rank. I type in exit rank, it gives me so many results. What's wrong with it? Well, let me just show you. Okay, if you go to the library catalog, you type in exit rank, you get a lot of information. Okay, sometimes the search engine is not smart enough to figure out you want to find exit rank. If they find anything to do with exit, if they find anything to do with rank, it will pull up in the result because it simply doesn't understand you're looking for exit rank as a phase. You can see I got a lot of result. Now, how can I address that issue? I only want to find exit rank, but not exit and rank. Really simple. All you need to do is put in a quotation and co-quotation, open quotation and co-quotation in between. Now you can see the result suddenly drop to 34,000. Right now, whatever you find, it will be exit rank, but not exit and rank. This is how you can narrow it down by using a open and quotation, doing a phase searching. Now, another question you want to ask is, Mr. I want to do a search, but I'm not so sure what kind of information I can find. My topic is about culture, but I want to cover about cultural. Is there any way that I can type that in so it will pick up culture and cultural at the same time? Well, it's really simple. All you need to do is use truncation and wildcard. What I mean by truncation and wildcard is you simply put an asterisk and star in between. Example will be after culture, instead of put an E, I put a star after R. It will find information about culture and cultural. So as you can see from the screen, culture, cultures, cultural, it will all pick it up using the truncation. Now, this is good to have if you're doing a research about government, but you don't know whether it will cover government with S or governmental. You can just put a star, it will find you everything. Same thing applies to technology. Okay, if you want to find the plural, if you want to find a noun, an adjective, put a star. It will find you everything. Now, I have talked about how to do keyword search. I have talked about how to do Boolean. There is something really beyond the Boolean search. It's called a facet browsing or facet searching. What do we mean by facet searching? Facet searching, that means you are searching information organized according to a classification system. What I mean by classification system is after it conduct the search, it will show you the result based on example, whether this is a peer reviewed, okay, whether this is open access, whether this is the publication say starting from the most current, what kind, is it an article, is it a newsletter, is it a newspaper. This is really handy if you want to find for a specific type or look for a specific year, or all you're looking for is looking for like available online. Now let me show you how it works. You just go to the library catalog. My topic is about research methodology. I go and do the search. Now I'm looking at my facet browsing. The left side will show me availability. For example, all I'm interested in is to find a peer review article. You can actually go and click apply filter. Based on those facet browsing, everything will give it to you will be a peer review article. So you can actually use the facet browsing as a filter, okay, to narrow down your research, looking for specific type and looking for currency, etc. This is called a facet browsing. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how we can find journal. For example, your prof say, hey, class, I want you to go and look for a journal. It's called Chronicle of Higher Education. And after that, I want you to do a review. Maybe pick one article from the journal and do a review. Okay, so if you're looking for a specific journal, what do? It's really simple. If you go to the library website, go and find the one it's called journal title. Your prof actually give you a name of the journal. You just type Chronicle Higher Education. One little click, it will provide you a link to that particular journal. One little click, it will bring you directly to all of the issue of the article. So this is how you can find journal title. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how to find database. Now I know how to find journal title, but I want to find a database because I am in business. Okay, I know there's some database will allow me to find 1,000 of journal title related to business. Example will be one is called academic one file. How can I find the academic one file? If you know the name of the database, go to the library website, go and click database. After you go and click, it will show you an alphabetical listing. Let's say the one you're looking for is called academic one file. So you will go and click academic one file. Now, if you have never used it before, no worry. Just go and click user guide. It will give you step-by-step guide on how to search and find information in the academic one file. There's a second way that you can go and find the database. Simply go to the library catalog, type the name of the database, and once you click, it will show you we have that database in our library holding, and click, it will bring you directly to that database. So the two way you can access the database in the VinUni library. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how we can find a full text database. Okay, I have already tell a little bit about how to use the search. If you just go to the library website, type in the name of a journal, and then click your article, and then go search, it will find you like in the peer review journal article. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you're not so sure what database we have. You can go to the database, and after that, you can search database by subjects. For example, in health science, you're definitely new to VinUni. You don't know what are some of the good database to use. Then we can show you there are a number of database that you can use to do your research in health science. Okay, so this will be really handy. And also, if you know the name of the journal, for example, my prof say, okay, Mr. Tin, you can actually go and find a journal. It's called Journal of Business and Academic Research. And here in issue number 3, there's an article about something. I want you to go and read it and prepare like for the reading for tomorrow. All you need to do is write down the name of the journal. In this case, with Journal of Business and Academic Research. Go to the library website. And after that, go to the journal search. Just type Journal of Business Academic Search. Click. It will show you we have the journal. And one little click, it will bring you to the site. You can pick either one of this to access the journal. Okay, this is how you can access a journal. Now, the most important thing of it is you use the journal to find a peer-reviewed article. Now, I'm going to tell a little bit about what is a peer-reviewed article later. What I need you to know is you can use the database to find a peer-reviewed article. After you do the search, this is exactly what the result will look like. It will give you the title of the article, the name of the author, and abstract. Now, next question is your prof say, okay, I want you to find a peer-reviewed article. So you're no cool. How can I tell whether this is a peer-reviewed article? Easy. After you conduct a search, looking for a something with an icon that say peer review article. If you say this is a peer review article, then you know this is a peer review article. You are on the right track. You find the right article for your assignment or for your research. And I'll tell a little bit about what I mean by peer review later. Now, this is something that's really handy. Let's say you find the article you want to share with your peers. How can I share? It's really simple. Okay, let's say I find one of the article. If I want to share with my other team members, I just go and click permanent link. And after that, click copy link. And this will be the link you will share like with the team member if they want to access that article again. It's called permanent ink. Do not copy the URL on the navigational bar because this is not static. Those are the dynamic because the database change. If you just copy and share it, the other user may not be able to see it. You want to have something as a static link. So you will copy the permanent link and share with your team members. Now, I talk a little bit about how to find a peer review article. You go and look at article to see whether there's an icon say a peer review. Your next action is, Mr. Tin, what do you mean by peer review article? Now, please make sure for any research, if you need to find an article for your research purpose, make sure you only use peer review article. Do not, I repeat, do not use magazine article. Okay, there's a difference between peer review article and a magazine article. In my next slide, I will tell you the difference. Now, I just want to give you a definition of what do we mean by peer review article. Peer review article is also known as scholarly or refereed article. Basically, it means this is an article evaluated by researcher or specialists in the community before it's accepted for publication. The importance of it is it has to go through a quality control process in order to ensure that this is an article good for research and good for academic use. If you look at the diagram, it explains a simple process about peer review. It starts with the author write an article and submit the journal for publication. The editor of the journal will send a copy to peer. That means it's a group of experts for them to read and checking. So what do they check? The expert will checking whether the methodology and argument really sound, whether the data are relevant and correct, they include bibliography and reference, and finally, if they pass the quality control, the panel will recommend for publication. So it will be accepted and published. Before an article become a peer review article, they have to go through this peer review process to ensure the quality of the article for any academic and research use. Now, as I mentioned to you before, there's a difference between a scholarly journal and popular magazine. In other words, what is the difference between a peer review article and also a magazine article? If you look at the diagram, there's a big difference. If you talk about scholarly, the scope is scholarly and academic, and the other one is just general interest and news. Academic scholarly journal is written by scholar, whereas the popular magazine is written by report. The focus on the left side is focused on research. One is the public interest. And usually in a scholarly journal, you will see reference bibliography. They show you where the information coming from, what are the sources. You hardly see a lot of bibliography unless in some exception. The language, of course, the target audience is the academic community. They use a lot of scholarly language, where the other they use common language or conversational. One, the target audience is researcher, student, and the other one is general public. The most important of all is really the process. If we talk about this as a scholarly journal, it has to go through a peer review process. Whereas for the popular magazine, there's no such thing as peer reviewed. So is any article reviewed by the staff? If they find it's good, interesting, they can publish it. Now I have one student come and ask me, Mr. T, I use a lot of National Geographic. National Geographic looks like it's really academic. Is it a scholarly? So I want to correct you. The National Geographic is just a popular magazine. It does not go through a peer-reviewed process. So if you're writing a science assignment, you're required to use academic journal. Do not put down a National Geographic because it doesn't count as a scholarly journal article. Now, if you are in the field in health science, you would like to know how I can find the cases, okay, to studies. Okay, I would recommend that you use one is called Access Medicine. Okay, I'll show you how you can access the case. You will go and access medicines, go and search. And after that, you will go and click the link. You will access the database within a second. Now you're in the Access Medicine database. Now I want to find a case for my health research. So you just go to cases. Okay, I'm looking for something about internal medicine, about respiratory cases. Okay, then there's so many cases. Example will be, I want to find something about kidney injury. You just go and click. They will give you a really nice, like, discussion about the case, reviewed, suggest reading. So this will be really handy if you're doing a lot of research about health science. You're looking at some of the specific case. I would suggest that you use either Access Medicine or some others like Access online resources. They have a series. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, besides using journal database, besides using OER, we have a large collection of books in the library, including physical book and ebook. For example, if I'm looking for books, I would like to see whether we have the book in the library, either have an electronic version and physical book. You go to the library website and just type in the title of the books, and then the result will show you, okay, whether we have the books in the library. If indeed you find something with the call number, that means we have the physical book. If you see available online, that means we also have pay or have a subscription to that ebook, and then you can go and click available online to access it. Now, if you want to request a book as a really simple process, go and search in the library catalog, and after that, go and click one of the button navigation in the left side, go get it. That's the first step. The second step, you log in, you will go and click request. The final step is you will just say, fill in some information. Let's say, when do you need to pick it up, etc., and click send request. The request will be electronically sent it like to the library within a day or two. You will see a message and then saying, okay, your request has been filled. Please come to the Wien Uni Library to pick up the book. Okay, so this is the way that you can request a book online. You don't necessarily have to come and browse all of the stack in order to find the book. Now, this is really important for you to learn how to use ebook. We have a large collection of electronic books in the library. About 65% of our collection is electronics. So a lot of people still doesn't know how to use an ebook effectively. So first of all, if you want to read an ebook, you need to have a compatible device. Either you have a computers or you have an Android, an iPhone, or an Android device. Now keep that in mind. It doesn't. Most of the ebook does not support Kindle. Okay, so if using like Kindle, you're out of luck. Now the second thing is, in order to read it, you have to download a free software. DRM, that means it's a digital right management program. Without download a program, you won't be able to access. So I would advise you, if you're using desktop or even using an iOS, iPad, download the Adobe Digital Edition and install. Then after that, you'll be able to read all those like ebook file. They have a really special format. It's called EPUB for you to read. Now keep that in mind. We subscribe to different. We have different ebook providers have different rules for you to download, access, and reading the ebook. What are the example? This is a typical example. If you actually go and access this ebook, it's called Sustainable Tourism. Go down to the bottom of the page. It will tell you you can print, you can email, but you can only save up to 60 pages. Okay, these are some of the limitations. It's not just look like you have an ebook, you can download the PDF, you can print everything. Each of the providers have restriction in terms of use. This is another example for using limited access ebooks. My advice is, if you find an ebook, if you really like it, try to access the ebook, try to print or download the option as you can. Okay. Now, really important for you is, after you access the ebook, please, I say please, close the browser and exit book. Because if you're still keeping the book, other people will not be able to access it. This is really typical, like you're trying to access the ebook because another people is still reading it or is still retrieving. When you try to access it, you will see, okay, you're out of luck, someone is actually in use. So make sure like you will exit the book after you read it or download it. Okay, do not just keep the book, because this will prevent other people to access the book. If you have trouble accessing it, it may be because of the peak time, weekend, early morning, people trying to access. So some of the book is with more than one access. It could be 2 people or 3 people. They only allow 3 people to access at the same time. So try to access a different time. Maybe like you'll be able to access the books again. The last thing I want to talk about is when you finish your research, it's really important for you to really acknowledge the sources. Okay, in order to acknowledge where you get the information, you're not committing like plagiarism. Simply copy everything from others. Then how do you do it? Okay, bibliography and citation is really important. When I talk about bibliography, it simply lists a list of books that you use for your research. For any research and any academic writing, when you finish your report, you have to increase a bibliography. Sometimes it's called reference list. It all depends on your subject area. Some subject they use the APA style, some use Chicago, MLA, and others. This is always one of the challenge is how you can do proper citation to follow a particular guide. In the good old days, I have to pay $65 to buy a guide and read through it. It's not really like give me a really user experience. So now you don't have to worry about it. Okay, I start with something in low tech. Okay, when I say low tech, the library have already identified or developed a LibGuide. This is where you can find a list of different stuff. For example, I'm taking a course about psychology. Okay, I need to do something using the APA style. So this is a list of all of the site that you can use. When you go click in, it gives you a good example how do you cite books with one author, two author, etc. This is really handy. I also identify some of the tools that you can do. It can actually do the citation on the fly. I highly recommend the one that's called Purdue Online Writing Lab. It's basically you just type in the information, including website, books, journal article, type information, and after that go and click cite. It will automatically find all of the information about the book. It will create a bibliography for you on the fly. So this is really handy using the Purdue Writing Center. Now, another thing I would like to facilitate the easy access for you to do bibliography using the built-in citation in your library system. For example, I have a book. It's called Bridging Educational Leadership. I don't know how I can do a bibliography, okay? But I finished my work now. I'm including this book. All you need to do is go and click the one. It's called citation. After you click citation, you decide what format I want the APA. It will automatically generate the APA format. All you need to do is just copy and paste. So this is really straightforward. This is really easy for you to create a citation on the fly. Now, keep that in mind. Many of you are probably using Google Scholar. I'm not so sure many of you know it has a feature that will allow you to format citation from your search result. I'm going to show you how it works. For example, I use the Google Scholar. I find a really nice article. Of course, if I go get it at VinUni, I can access to the article. Now I want to do the citation. All you need to do is go and click the citation icon. Okay, it will show you can do MLA, APA, etc. All you need to do is just copy and paste, or you can export it into EndNotes. Now keep that in mind. If you just go and copy this, your instructor will not give you 100%. If you look at it carefully, Google Scholar is still not smart enough and say APA, the proper format in the second line and third line, you have to do the indentation. So make sure when you copy, you have to do the indentation in order to ensure you compile with the right format. You can also export it like into EndNote. Then it will do a proper formatting for you. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is really EndNote. I don't know how many of you have actually using EndNote. The library has a subscription to EndNote. It's a cloud-based bibliographical management program. Allow you to create a bibliography on the fly based on your search result. Now, let me show how it works. Now, I have a go to search. I find a book. Now, I want to do a bibliography. All you need to do is click Send To, and after that, click EndNote. After you click EndNote, it will bring you to the screen. It will allow you to sign in. You can use your VinUni email address, or you can use any others. After you sign in, you will see I have already bookmarked one of the search results. It will allow me to create a bibliography on the fly. As you can see, I just go to my reference. And then you can see I have bookmarked this book, right? So all I need to do is right now I can go and check the box. I want to format it now. So I will go to format. And after that, I will select it. Okay, from all reference in my library, I want to do different format. This time I like to do APA, and I select a format. I would like to an HTML version. So in just a second, look, it will automatically create a bibliography for you on the fly based on the format you want to create from your search result. So this is really handy for you if you're working as a research assistant. If you assign a topic, you go to the library website to search a different thing, and after that you save it, and then you're using the EndNote to organize result and present it like to your instructors. Now, this is something really interesting. I work for a university, it's a STEAM university. I was in that project, it's called Assignment Planner. One of the things I find it really handy is a lot of students, they don't know how to do research, especially they don't even know how to manage their time. In order to address this problem, they create Assignment Planner. This is something that you can actually use it. It's a free tool that you can use. Now, what it does is after you go to the website, for example, you're doing your research essay. You will go and click research essay. You specify the time. I want today and next week, 14, I have to hand it in. It will create a plan for you. So what it does right now, they put the date. It will show you how you can start your research essay project, giving you the link, how to do it. Okay, what kind of question, how you can narrow down your topic, develop questions, how you do a research, like, and then how do you evaluate resources. This is really handy in terms of helping you to do your time management for your research, and also give you a guide for you to work on different type of research, especially writing a paper or create a posters. If you want to do a knowledge dissemination, to do a poster for a conference. Now, this is another project that I was also in. It's called WriteOnline.ca. It's from one of the Canadian university. One thing I really like is the students are really short of skill to know how to write literature review. Literature review is one of the most important component for research. You cannot write, do a report without knowing how to do literature review, because you have to survey and find out what are the change. I really like the way they show you how to do literature review. If you go to the site, you can just go and click literature review. This is really similar to the planner. It gives you step-by-step guide on how you can plan, what should be in the literature reviewed, what are some of the skill. This is like a kind of module. You can actually go and do it yourself. By the time you finish it, you will become an expert, and knowing how to do literature review. So this is called the WriteOnline.ca. It's a Canadian production. Now, I have showed you about different tools to find different information. Human is also one of the tools too. Let's say you struggle with your research, you don't know exactly what to do, you need some help. In the library website, we have set up different way you can connect it with the librarian. We can give you help. So keep calm and ask the librarian questions. If you go to the library website, you have a different way that you can connect it with a librarian, including phone number, chat up with online, email, and also we have started a virtual reference service. You can right now it's after 6. We no longer have the server, but if you can actually go and click the box, you can actually go and check with a librarian virtually. They will guide you through and how you can do your research. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. This is my email address. I also have 2 academic librarians. They are at your service. If you want to find more information about how to do research, where those research tools are available, you can actually go to library.vnuni.edu.vn. Okay, so before I entertain the questions, there are some questions they want me to respond. So, okay, Is our host here? Yes? No? Okay, I can read it. The host actually asked me to answer 3 questions. She said, "Oh, Mr. Tin, I know you're a good researcher. I see myself as a really accomplished researcher, and also not only as an academic librarian. I publish book, I presented in conference, I develop a lot of prototype to support research. One of the most memorable case of research is how I can think out of the book, not the box. This is one of the projects I have involved in a few years ago. The university bookstore came and talked to me, Mr. Tin. I have a faculty who has published a book. He would like to have a more innovative way, like to make the books available, especially for people who are mobile user, because a lot of people they're using a mobile phone to access now, and also we have a group of people that have some accessibility issue. That means like the vision are not really good. They cannot read. Is there any way that you can come up with a research project that it could help people to read, especially for people who have visual problem? So I come up with that project as thinking out of the traditional books, not print. I created a project. It's called a smart book. What is that? And you see the diagram. This is a card that I'm giving up like to the user. The card actually have a QR code. They can scan the QR code and access. One thing is really unique is they also have an NFC chip built in. If you are using a device compatible with NFC, you can go and touch. So in other words, you can scan the book or you can touch a book to access. So this will be the content they can access. If they scan or touch, they will bring you to the page. This is where they can download the PDF into the device. I also using the text to speech technology. I converted all of the whole book into an audio book. So all they need to do, they go click and they can listen. In order to facilitate people who have an ebook reader, I'm also creating a EPUB they can download for the ebook. So can the host actually play the video so that like the audience can see what the smart book technology look like? Now, as you can see, it's a really interesting idea, like to support research, but not only support research, as a really good.
T.A.N.C.E. 5 steps to living your best life. Deborah DeChong, MSW. It's official.
Okay, as you can see, this not only like to support research, it actually have some really good practical application. The cost of the card is only about 50 cents, so I can make a mass production. It also have a really good marketing value. Think about if I create all those smart card in the bookstore, I will have the author actually sitting down and sign up, put that autograph in the book and give it out to the user to promote the book. Think about the reunion after 10 years. We're not talking about textbook. Okay, I know a lot of students complaining, okay, you have ebook, like we don't have access to textbook. I may be giving you one of those smart card. In the smart card, you'll be able to access the e-textbooks like in a PDF format, EPUB. Even better is you can go and click, you can listen to the audio textbook. So that's what I mean is, as a good researcher, you have to think out of the box and then use like putting your user at the center of your design. Then for sure you will come up with better research. You will making a lot of impact. Now the second questions the host asked me is, Mr. Tin, what do you think? What are some of the concern when you're doing research? These two are aiming to address and solve. Now, when we're talking about tools, I have two aspects. The first thing is how to use the tool. For example, if I give you the best research tool, if you do not know how to use it, it's just totally waste of time. So I think the first thing have to be really focusing on training you people have to be a smart user or smart researcher. Example, today, I think I have really achieved my objective, showing you people how to use Boolean operator. You can use and or not to broaden your search, show you how to use a keyword search, so you can use a keyword to get a better result. Even better is I have to show you how to use a facet browsing. So the point I'm trying to take is you can actually go and use the library catalog to find information. But if you do not know how to use it, it's totally waste of time. Now you can know I can put it in or not in the library catalog. I can get a better result. I can use a keyword search. I can use a facet parsing, determine different type. So the first thing is how to use. The second thing is really important is what to use in terms of research. I've seen a lot of students, they come to me, okay, Mr. Tin, I'm doing my research. I don't know why after I present my paper, my professor taught me for putting like, irrelevant academic, learning resources. When I look at the bibliography, guess what? I find something look like New York Times, Time magazines. No, you are doing research, you're talking academic research. We require a peer-reviewed article in order to ensure the quality, of your the resource. So in other words, you will be dot if you're using magazine article. So you understand what to use. Now, after I talk about the peer review process, for sure you will know, okay, we will go and use a peer review article. Now I talk about Google Scholar. I would suggest that you use Google Scholar because the way Google Scholar index is, they are using really similar, using a peer review process, focusing on the academic and scholarly. Instead of just Google, everybody can write something. If Google indexes it, it will show up. But Scholar is a totally different. It's focusing on academic and scholarly. Last but not least, right now there's a lot of concern about fake news. Example will be people are telling you, okay, the COVID is spreading right now. You should go to the supermarket and try to grab all the food as possible. Otherwise, you'll be short of food, you'll be die. Those could be really fake news. So one of the thing is what to use is when you actually go and use resources, you want to make sure you use different sources. Do not just go and only count on one. Okay, just only one, maybe just a website. You have to go and use different type of resources. I mean, even for research, don't just focusing on using anything online. You need to have some multimedia, audio, video, casting, book chapters, peer review article, etc. So try to diversify and using different type of resources. This is the last questions. The student asked me, he said, Mr. Tin, do you have any guideline for researcher to ensure the tool is reliable? So in other here, we're only talking about the quality of a tool, of the quality of the resources. Okay. What are some of the criteria? Well, using the radar is a really simple criteria to determine the usefulness of a tool or to develop the usefulness of the content. The very first thing R is stand for relevancy. If you use a tool, just like if you're using a search engine, the different type of search engine, you look at the result. If you type in something, do you get something really relevant? For example, if you search for health science, you use some kind of website search engine, or they come up with something to do business. So in this case, you know they're not relevant. The second one is stand for A. When I say authority, when you go and use the tool or the resources, you will actually look at who actually developed the tool. If this is a website who actually publish a website, for sure, you can tell. Example, if you are in health site, you know the Great Anatomy is the authority because all of the information are authority. You will go with the authority. Do not take everything for granted. Okay, if you're using a tool or using any resources. Third is really the date. Currency is really important. If you go and look at the resources, if you look at the tool, if the tool can only find the information is not really current, maybe this is the one, it just allow you to find some of the archive file, then for sure you're doing cutting edge resources. This tool will not be aligned with what you want to find. All you want to find is the currency of information. You look at the date. So you look at something look like our library catalog. They have the filter that you can specify the currency of information. Always look at the currency of information if your research is cutting edge. Unless you're doing a historical research, you're looking for archive, if it different matters. 4 is really to do with the accuracy of information. When you go and read, you will determine whether the information is really accurate or what you get is totally wrong. It's not really hard to tell when you read the information. Sometimes when I go to the website, it looks so legitimate. But after you read a few lines, you know this is totally baloney. It's not right, it's inaccurate. So also look at the content. Is the content is really accurate. The last one is really important, like it's something to do with reason. When I say reason, I'm talking about the content you get. Is it, do they have any bias? Do they have any prejudices? Because sometimes when you read a site or using a tool, maybe the tool is programmed in a way that it will only allow you to find some specific information. Especially right now in internet, there's some kind of tool. It's not like our Google. You have to actually go and download, allow you to find some information. However, they use the tool, they have already programmed it. They can only allow you to find certain type of information. Now, one thing I totally against using Opto is called dark web. Dark web will get into something information that is not really appropriate. Okay, there's some kind of search engine. So you have to go and determine what search engine you use. When you read the content, do they have any bias? If they have any prejudices? Of course, if we are talking about tool, the most important thing is really the usability. Search engine, is it easy to use? Is it can be accommodated both mobile and desktop? I know right now a lot of people using myself. I'm really handy. I'm using my mobile phone to find information. But when I get to some of the site, some of the tool, I find out they're not really mobile. They're really defeating the purpose. It actually turns the user off, right? So I will also look at the usability. Okay, this is how I conclude my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm entertaining some questions. Okay, anybody have any question for me? I can answer.
Thank you, Mr. Turnitin, for such an insightful speech today. I believe that our audience can take away a lot of with them about the useful tools, sources, and also a lot of magical tips from your speech. However, due to the time constraints, we are not able to do a Q&A section with our audience today. But
Okay.
we have already recorded their question, and I think our guest speakers will get to them shortly after this workshop.
Okay.
So
Thank you so
once
much.
again, thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Turnitin, for joining us today as a guest speaker.
Okay. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, you can see on the screen that we have a magic card today. It is library research. And also don't forget that we also have a workshop, how to become a research assistant, for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank you, our adorable audience, for joining our workshop today. Thank you and see you again.